Most people have no idea that some of their everyday habits are quietly hurting their cat. And that's what makes this so unsettling. These aren't obviously cruel things. They're normal, common, totally everyday behaviors that almost every cat owner has done without thinking twice. But if they keep happening again and again, they can slowly chip away at your cat's trust, damage their health, and make them feel less safe in the place that's supposed to protect them most, your home. So in this video, let's talk about 6 everyday things that can hurt your cat far more than most people realize. First, yelling when they do something wrong. Be honest. Have you ever seen your cat knock something off the counter, scratch the couch, or jump somewhere they shouldn't, and your immediate reaction was to shout their name? Most of us have. In the moment, it feels automatic. It feels like you're correcting the behavior. But to your cat, that's not what's happening at all. Cats do not process cause and effects the same way humans do. Research published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that cats who were regularly yelled at showed higher levels of chronic stress and were more likely to develop behavior issues like hiding, aggression, and even avoiding the litter box. So they're not thinking, I shouldn't do that again. What they're learning is, this person can suddenly become loud, intense, and unpredictable. And that's where the real damage happens. Because even if your intention isn't to scare them, your cat doesn't understand intention. They respond to your tone, your volume, and the emotional energy behind it. Over time, that doesn't teach them better behavior. It teaches them that being near you can feel unsafe, and that slowly wears down the bond you've built together. If someone randomly screamed every time you made a mistake, you'd start feeling tense around them too. Your cat is no different. And if that's uncomfortable to hear, the next one might be even harder. Because a lot of owners are hurting their cats without ever raising their voice at all. Second, never giving them a real chance to hunt or chase. When was the last time your cat actually got to stalk, chase, and pounce on something? And no, staring at a bug on the wall for 10 minutes does not count. So many indoor cats go days or even weeks without anything that truly activates their hunting instincts. On the outside, they may look calm, they may sleep a lot, they may seem easy, but that doesn't always mean they're content. Cats are built around the hunting sequence: stalk, chase, pounce, catch, kill, eat. That pattern is deeply wired into their brain, and when it never gets expressed, something starts to fade. Studies in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery have linked low play stimulation to higher rates of obesity, aggression, over-grooming, and even depression-like behavior in cats. So that cat who seems quiet and low maintenance may not be relaxed. They may be understimulated, frustrated, and mentally checked out. The good news is the fix is simple. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day with an interactive wand toy or anything that moves like prey can make a huge difference in your cat's mood, energy, and connection with you. 3. Feeding only dry kibble. What if the food you put in your cat's bowl every day is quietly dehydrating them over time? That sounds dramatic, but it's actually closer to the truth than most people realize. Here's the part many owners never hear. Cats evolved from desert animals. Their ancestors got most of their hydration from the animals they hunted, which means cats were never built to drink large amounts of water the way dogs or people do. Their thirst drive is naturally low. So when a cat eats mostly dry kibble, which has very little moisture, they can end up living in a constant state of mild dehydration without anyone noticing. And because it happens slowly, it rarely looks like an emergency. A study published in the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association found that cats on dry food-only diets had lower total water intake than cats eating wet food, even when clean water was always available. Over time, that matters. Chronic dehydration puts extra strain on the kidneys and urinary tract, and that can raise the risk of serious problems later in life. That's one reason kidney disease is so common in older cats. The good news is this is one of the easiest things to improve. You do not need to panic and throw all the kibble away tonight. Even adding wet food into their routine a few times a week can help increase moisture intake in a meaningful way. A small change in the bowl can make a very big difference inside their body. 4. Petting them in the wrong places. Have you ever been petting your cat, thinking everything is going perfectly, and then, out of nowhere, they snap, bite, or swat at you? And you sit there, wondering what just happened. A lot of the time, it's not because your cat suddenly got moody, it's because you crossed a line they were already trying to communicate. Many people pet cats the way they would pet a dog, long strokes down the full back, rubbing the belly, or touching near the base of the tail. But cats are much more sensitive than most people think. Their skin is packed with nerve endings, and something that feels pleasant for 2 seconds can become overwhelming very quickly. There's even a name for it: petting-induced overstimulation. Research from the University of Lincoln found that cats were generally more comfortable being touched around the cheeks, under the chin, and near the base of the ears. But areas like the belly and lower back often triggered much stronger stress responses. So when your cat rolls over and shows their belly, that is usually not an invitation for a belly rub. More often, it is a sign of trust. And when you go straight for the stomach, you may be turning a safe moment into an uncomfortable one. The easiest fix is to stay with the safer zones. Keep your touch gentle and pay attention to the signs. If the tail starts flicking, the ears shift back, or the body stiffens, stop right there. That is your cat saying, "I like you, but I need space now." 5. Hiding the litter box in the worst possible place. Where is your cat's litter box right now? Seriously. Is it tucked into the laundry room, pushed behind a door, or stuck in some dark little corner nobody wants to look at? A lot of people do that because, from a human point of view, it makes sense. You don't want the box out in the open. You don't want to smell it. You don't want guests to see it. But from your cat's point of view, you may have just placed their bathroom in the most stressful spot in the entire house. Cats are not only predators, they're also prey animals, which means using the litter box puts them in a vulnerable position. They need to feel like they can see their surroundings and leave quickly if they need to. When the box is shoved into a cramped space with only one exit, that goes directly against their instincts. Research in applied animal behavior science has shown that litter box location and accessibility are major factors behind elimination problems in cats. So if your cat has started peeing outside the box, it may not be defiance at all. It may be discomfort, stress, or fear. And there's another mistake people make all the time. One cat, one litter box. Behaviorists usually recommend the N+1 rule. In other words, 1 box per cat plus 1 extra. So if you have 2 cats, you should have 3 boxes in different parts of the home. That gives them options and helps reduce tension. 6. Leaving them alone for too long. Earlier, I mentioned there's one thing many owners do out of love that may be hurting their cat the most. This is the one. There's this old idea that cats are so independent they barely care whether you're home or not. That's simply not true. A 2020 study published in Current Biology found that cats form real attachment bonds with their owners, similar in important ways to the bonds seen in dogs and even human infants. So when you're gone for long stretches every day and your cat seems totally fine when you get back, that doesn't necessarily mean they were fine. Cats dealing with too much isolation can develop anxiety, appetite changes, over-grooming, litter box issues, and low mood. The difference is, they tend to suffer quietly. They don't always act out in obvious ways. Sometimes they just shut down. And that silence fools people into thinking nothing is wrong. But your cat notices when you leave. Your cat feels your absence. You don't have to be home all day to be a great cat owner, but the little things matter. Leave enrichment out. Rotate toys. Set up a window perch. And when you come home, don't just breeze past them. Pause. Sit with them. Give them a few minutes of real attention. Because to your cat, you are not just the person who fills the food bowl. You are home.